This authorized audiobook of lessons from the Akashic Records, accessing soul history for wisdom, clarity, and guidance. 6. Cosmic Soul Journey Book 11 is presented by Soul Sanctuary Audio. Copyright Seraphina Hartwell. Introduction. The Soul's Infinite Library. There is a sacred place where time folds, memory breathes, and your soul's truth lives unbound by the constraints of this lifetime. It is not a place you can touch, yet it touches you. It is not something you can own, yet it has always belonged to you. It is the Akashic Records. Imagine an eternal library, not of books or scrolls, but of light, energy, vibration. Within its halls lie the imprints of every choice, every thought, every breath you've taken, not just in this life, but across all your incarnations. These records are not frozen histories. They are living currents, flowing, evolving, whispering guidance to those who learn how to listen. You may have stumbled upon the concept before, the Akasha, the ether, the book of life. Different traditions name it differently, but the essence remains the same. It is a field of consciousness that holds the truth of your soul's journey, woven with compassion and insight far beyond what the human mind alone can grasp. To open the records is to remember. To read them is to awaken. To walk with their wisdom is to live as your highest self. In the pages that follow, we will not only explore what the Akashic Records are, we will travel into them. You will learn how to access this sacred realm with reverence, how to ask questions that yield soul-altering clarity, and how to interpret the symbols and stories that rise like stardust from your deeper knowing. This is not just a book. It is a compass. Each chapter is a lantern to guide you inward, upward, and beyond, to help you reclaim pieces of yourself that you left behind in other lives, to untangle karmic knots with grace, and to stand in this present moment illuminated by the truth of who you truly are. You don't have to be psychic. You don't have to be perfect. You simply have to be willing. Willing to pause. Willing to listen. Willing to believe that there is more to you than what meets the eye. Because there is. So much more. The records are already calling. Can you hear them? Let us begin. 1. What are the Akashic Records? They have been called the Book of Life, the Cosmic Scroll, the etheric library of the soul. But at their core, the Akashic Records are neither book nor building. They are a vibrational field, a living archive that holds every thought, word, action, emotion, and intention that has ever existed across all time and space. The word Akasha is derived from Sanskrit, meaning ether or sky, the fifth element that contains and connects all things. It is the subtle, unseen field from which everything is formed. From this field, the records emerge, not as dusty accounts of judgment, but as compassionate mirrors of evolution. A multicultural memory. Mystics across traditions have spoken of this realm. Theosophists like Helena Blavatsky and Edgar Cayce brought the term Akashic Records to the modern Western mind, but the concept predates them by centuries, if not millennia. In ancient Hindu philosophy, the Akasha was the first element birthed from the unmanifest, the sacred void from which all existence arises. In Judaic mysticism, the Book of Remembrance is said to contain every word and deed. In Sufi poetry, the soul travels through veils of remembrance toward divine union. And in indigenous traditions, the earth herself records the stories of her children in stone, water, wind, and fire. These are all echoes of the same truth. There exists a divine memory field that lovingly holds the record of all that is. Not just a record, a relationship. To many, the idea of accessing the Akashic Records feels distant or esoteric. But the truth is, you've already touched them. In the moment you felt inexplicably drawn to a place you've never been. when you met someone and knew them in your bones, as you dreamed of other times, other selves, with clarity that defied logic. That was your soul reaching through the veil, brushing against the records. The Akashic Records are not separate from you. They are part of your soul's energetic anatomy. Every lifetime you've lived, every lesson you've learned, every gift you've gathered is encoded within your Akashic imprint. And this imprint is always accessible, not by force or demand, but by invitation. What's inside the records? The records do not offer rigid answers or fixed destinies. They are a reflection of your soul's potential, choices, and pathways. They can reveal your soul's origin and reason for incarnating, karmic patterns that repeat across lifetimes, contracts and soul connections with others, unhealed wounds and past life memories, talents, gifts, and forgotten truths, guidance on your next best step in alignment with your soul. But they will never override your free will. You are the author of your story. The records simply offer the wisdom to write it more consciously. A living library of light. Some who enter the records experience them as vast halls of light. Others see books, scrolls, or crystal tablets. Some feel energy, hear music, or receive downloads through color, sensation, or emotion. There is no one right way. The records speak in the language your soul understands best. For some, they whisper. For others, they roar. But always, they hold you with profound love. Imagine sitting in a golden room, flooded with warmth. You're not alone. Around you are guides, luminous beings who have journeyed with you for eons. Record keepers, guardians of light, and sometimes your own higher self step forward to gently unveil the truth you are ready to receive. You do not beg for insight here. You remember. Why access the records now? Humanity is awakening. The veil is thinner. More than ever, people are feeling the ache to remember who they truly are, to step beyond limitation and into spiritual maturity. The records are rising to meet that need. They offer healing, not by erasing your pain, but by showing its origin and meaning. They offer empowerment, not by controlling outcomes, but by aligning you with divine truth. They offer peace, not by silencing the chaos, but by reminding you that your soul is eternal and it has chosen this journey with great purpose. You are not here by accident. You are not broken. You are not behind. The Akashic Records hold the loving blueprint of your becoming and the map to your return. A sacred invitation. To enter the records is not a parlor trick or a psychic party trick. It is a sacred act. It requires presence. It requires reverence. It requires the willingness to be transformed. In the chapters to come, we will walk step by step through how to access your records with intention, how to prepare and protect your energy, how to receive and interpret guidance, and how to live with Akashic awareness every day. But for now, let your soul breathe in this truth. The records are not outside of you. They are a part of you, and the wisdom they hold has always been yours. 2. Soul memory and multidimensional access. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. Rumi, there is a quiet stirring inside you, one that awakens not through intellect, but through resonance. You feel it when you walk into an old temple and your breath catches. You feel it when someone says your name in a certain way and your body tingles with forgotten recognition. You feel it when you dream of deserts, moons, or voices not your own. This stirring is not imagination. It is memory, soul memory. And soul memory, dear reader, is the bridge to the Akashic Records. We are multidimensional beings navigating a three-dimensional world. Though we live in the here and now, The soul is not bound by clocks or calendars. It stretches through time like golden thread, touching past lives, parallel lives, and probable futures all at once. The Akashic Records are where all these threads are woven into the sacred tapestry of your soul's becoming. The soul is older than you think. Before you were born, you were. Before your name was spoken, your essence shimmered. Before this life began, your soul was already writing love letters across dimensions. The soul is not linear. It is layered, complex, and whole. In the Akashic dimension, we access these soul layers, not just to see who we once were, but to understand who we are becoming. Your past lives are not relics. They are currents still flowing through your energetic field. They influence your fears, your gifts, your preferences, and your wounds. A phobia of water, a love of languages, a sudden connection with a stranger. All echoes. And yet, not everything from another life is meant to be healed or cleared. Some memories return simply to be remembered, to bring you into deeper intimacy with yourself. The Akashic Records allow us to hold these memories with reverence rather than reactivity. They help us see patterns, not punishments. Contracts, not curses. Evolution, not error. Accessing the multidimensional self. The moment you begin working with the records, you engage with your multidimensional self. You are not only the one reading this chapter. You are the priestess and the poet, the healer and the scribe, the child and the crone. In spiritual terms, you are a fractal of divine consciousness, a unique expression of Source who has chosen to experience countless forms in countless timelines. These timelines do not unfold like dominoes, one after the other. Rather, they exist in parallel, each vibrating at its own frequency. When you access the Akashic Records, you aren't going back in time. You are stepping sideways, upward, inward, into alternate layers of your own divine self. Some practitioners describe it as moving through dimensions. Others describe it as tuning into a particular vibrational bandwidth, much like a radio dial. The station has always been there. You simply didn't know how to tune in. Soul contracts, karmic imprints, and echoes across lifetimes. One of the most profound gifts of Akashic work is the understanding of soul contracts, agreements made at the soul level, often before birth, to learn, heal, or support others through specific relationships or events. Perhaps you chose a difficult parent to learn self-worth. Perhaps you entered into a soul contract with a partner to resolve unfinished energy from a past life. Perhaps you chose to face illness to awaken the healer within. These are not punishments. They are sacred invitations to growth. When we view our experiences through the lens of the records, we move from victimhood to vision. We begin to see the divine architecture beneath our greatest challenges. And as we do, we unlock compassion not only for ourselves, but for those who walk beside us, struggling with their own soul lessons. In this field of compassionate neutrality, even the most painful chapters begin to soften. We are reminded that we are not broken. We are becoming. The language of the soul, dreams, symbols, and synchronicities. Your soul speaks a symbolic language. It speaks through dreams that won't leave you, feelings that have no origin, art that floods through your hands, and synchronicities that seem too exact to be a coincidence. When you work in the Akashic field, you begin to notice these soul signals more clearly. A recurring symbol in meditation, a white owl, a spinning wheel, a cracked mirror, maybe a direct transmission from a past life or a parallel version of yourself. It may be a call to remember a truth that was once forgotten. It may be a breadcrumb on your path back to wholeness. And those vivid dreams, they may be glimpses of soul memory, not fiction. In the records, these fragments come together. What once felt disjointed begins to weave. A symbol that appears in meditation returns in a dream, and then in a conversation with a stranger. You begin to trust the soul's language, because it always speaks in love. How the records activate soul memory. Accessing the Akashic Records doesn't always mean receiving detailed visions of past lives. Sometimes the activation is subtle but profound. You may feel a sudden surge of confidence in your healing gifts, an overwhelming release of emotion with no known cause, a remembrance of your purpose that feels ancient and true, a newfound connection to a particular land, language, or lineage. This is soul memory reawakening. It's not always about information. It's about transformation. Sometimes, just the act of entering the records with pure intent is enough to awaken dormant codes within your energy field. These codes may be memories, abilities, or even shifts in your DNA expression. The records help to delayer the false stories you've carried and realign you with your original blueprint. Navigating multidimensional awareness in daily life. Living as a multidimensional being means honoring your soul's wisdom while also tending to your human experience. You still go to work. You still wash the dishes. But you do so with a broader lens. You understand that your triggers are invitations. Your desires are divine messages. Your relationships are sacred contracts. You no longer fear repeating patterns. You study them, dialogue with them. Ask the records what they're trying to teach you. You no longer seek to escape this reality. You seek to embody your divinity within it. That is the ultimate purpose of the Akashic Path, not to float away, but to anchor higher truth into embodied living, to walk as a bridge between dimensions, to live with the wisdom of the cosmos and the heart of the human. Soul remembers. Perhaps the most beautiful truth the records offer is this. You already know. You always have. The records don't give you anything new. They reflect what your soul has always carried. In a world that constantly tries to define you from the outside, the Akashic Records call you inward to the place where your truest essence lives. You are not merely a collection of memories. You are the consciousness that carries them. You are the soul that chose this life for a reason. As you continue this journey into the records, remember that you are not digging through dusty archives. You are dancing with your own divine memory. You are reclaiming parts of yourself scattered through lifetimes. You are saying yes to the fullness of who you are. The next time your heart stirs with a truth you can't explain, whisper back to it. I remember you. I know you. I am ready to walk with you now. 3. Preparing to enter the records. Before you enter sacred space, become sacred space. To approach the Akashic Records is not to knock on a stranger's door. It is to return to a temple built from the very light of your soul. It is to walk barefoot through your own memory palace, guided not by force or curiosity alone, but by reverence, humility, and a willingness to be changed. The records are not a playground for the ego. They are a sanctuary for the soul. So, before the doors of this divine archive swing open, we must first prepare the ground within. The importance of sacred preparation. In ancient times, spiritual seekers spent years in devotion before touching sacred texts or temples. They cleansed the body, purified the heart, and aligned with divine will. While the Akashic Records are available to all, they are best approached with this same spirit of sacred readiness. You are not required to be perfect or enlightened, but you are asked to be intentional. The frequency of your intention determines the clarity of your access. If you approach the records for control, validation, or entertainment, the messages will be muddy or may not come at all. If you approach with a heart open to truth, transformation, and service, the field responds like a mirror of starlight. So we begin, always by attuning our inner landscape, clearing the noise, softening the grip of fear, and opening ourselves to divine resonance. Purifying intention, the gateway to the records. Ask yourself, why do I wish to enter the Akashic Records? Write it down. Sit with it. Refine it. Some enter seeking healing. Some long to understand patterns. Some want to serve others as readers. All intentions are valid, but they must arise from the heart, not from ego. Here are some soul-aligned examples. I seek to understand my soul's path so I can live with more clarity. I wish to heal karmic wounds and release old contracts with grace. I feel called to receive guidance in service of my highest truth. Let your intention be your compass. Every time you enter the records, return to it. Let it anchor you in light. Preparing the body. Stillness as sacred offering. Your body is the vessel through which you receive energetic information. To enter the records with clarity, the body must be grounded, nourished, and soothed. Here are physical preparation suggestions. Hydrate well before your session. Eat light, high-vibration foods, fruits, teas, greens. Avoid alcohol, heavy sugar, or stimulants beforehand. Sit comfortably, spine straight, but relaxed. Use essential oils such as frankincense, sandalwood, or lavender to calm the mind. Practice 5 to 10 minutes of breath work or gentle movement, yoga, qigong. Treat your body like the sacred antenna it is. The clearer the vessel, the purer the reception. Preparing the heart, surrender and trust. Before entering the records, take time to soften your heart. Release the need to be right, to receive instant answers, or to control the session. The Akashic field flows best through surrendered presence. Try placing a hand over your heart. Breathe into it. Speak aloud. I open my heart to divine truth. I surrender my ego. I receive only that which serves my highest good. The heart, not the mind, is the true gatekeeper of the records. Enter with it wide open. Clearing your space, external mirrors the internal. The records are not accessed through clutter, chaos, or distraction. They thrive in stillness and beauty. Your external space should reflect your reverence. Suggestions for sacred setup. Light a white candle to invite clarity and connection. Burn Palo Santo, sage, or incense to clear lingering energies. Arrange crystals like clear quartz, selenite, or amethyst nearby. Create a small altar with objects of spiritual significance. Use a journal and pen to record messages. Play soft ambient music, mantras, or silence, depending on your sensitivity. Your space doesn't have to be elaborate. What matters is that it is intentional, a reflection of your readiness to step into sacred communion. Energetic protection, boundaries as love. Before opening the records, it is essential to create energetic protection, not out of fear, but out of love and wisdom. As you access higher frequencies, your field becomes more sensitive. Just as you wouldn't leave your front door open in a storm, you must also protect your energetic door. Here is a simple prayer of protection. Surround me now in a sphere of divine white light. Let only the highest truth, wisdom, and compassion enter this space. I call upon my guides and record keepers to protect, support, and guide me. All else is released and returned to source. You may also visualize yourself surrounded by a sphere of light, a golden dome, or angelic wings. Trust what feels right for you. Opening with reverence, the ritual of entry. There are many ways to access the records, including spoken prayers, meditations, and breath work. What matters most is the state of consciousness you carry as you enter. The most well-known is the pathway prayer process, adapted from Linda Howe's teachings. You are welcome to use her version or create your own invocation. Here's an example of a simplified prayer you can use. I open myself to the wisdom and light of the Akashic Records. I ask to receive guidance for my highest good, in alignment with love and truth. I honor the record keepers and my soul's journey. May I receive only what I am ready to know and integrate. The records are now open. Pause. Feel. Trust. Once the records are open, remain in a space of stillness. You may receive images, words, memories, feelings, or simply a deep sense of presence. There is no right way. There is only your way. What if nothing happens? It's common to doubt, especially in the beginning. What if I'm making this up? Why is nothing happening? Did I do it wrong? The Akashic Records don't always speak in fireworks. Sometimes they whisper. Sometimes they unfold later in dreams or synchronicities. The key is to release expectations. If you feel calm, expanded, or deeply peaceful, you've entered the field. If you receive a word or vision, write it down. Trust that what you need will come, and often it will come softly. The more you practice, the clearer the connection becomes. After the session, closing and integration. Once you're complete, be sure to formally close the records. This is not only a spiritual courtesy. It's an energetic boundary that supports your clarity. Sample closing. I thank the record keepers for their love, wisdom, and presence. I now close the records with gratitude and grace. So be it. The records are now closed. Repeat 3 times. After closing, drink water. Journal any messages, images, or impressions. Ground yourself with movement or nature. Take time before rushing into daily tasks. Remember, the records may continue to work within you for days after a session. Be gentle with yourself. Final reflections. The threshold. To prepare for the records is not merely to set up candles and crystals. It is to align yourself, body, mind, heart, and soul, with the frequency of divine remembrance. Every time you enter the records, you are not just retrieving information, you are deepening your relationship with your soul. You are stepping into sacred space, and you are becoming that sacred space. So come not as a seeker of spectacle, but as a lover of truth. Come not to test, but to remember. Come not to escape life, but to live it more soulfully. The Akashic Records respond to the depth of your sincerity. So breathe, center, and prepare not just to enter the records, but to be transformed by them. 4 techniques for connection and protection. To open the gates of soul memory is to step into a temple. Before you do, surround yourself with light. The Akashic Records are a frequency, sacred, intelligent, and loving, like tuning into a divine radio station. You must align your inner instruments to receive the signal. But you must also know how to protect your energetic field while exploring this profound space. Think of it as walking into a sacred temple that also exists within you. You don't enter with muddy feet, nor do you leave the doors wide open. You prepare, you protect, you connect with respect. In this chapter, you'll discover both connection techniques to access the records and spiritual protection tools to maintain clarity, safety, and energetic sovereignty as you move between realms. Understanding the energetic architecture of the records. When you enter the Akashic Records, you're engaging with a vibrational layer of consciousness that contains every soul's history and potential. It's not located in the sky or buried under the earth. It exists as part of the quantum field. Each soul has its own Akashic field, much like an energetic fingerprint. When you access your own records, you are tuning in to your unique vibrational essence across time and space. Accessing the records requires a state shift, from the beta brainwaves of the everyday mind to the theta or alpha waves of deep presence, surrender, and intuition. In this space, boundaries blur. You may encounter symbols, sounds, sensations, or even guides. But without proper energetic protocols, your messages may become distorted. Or worse, you may open yourself to lower vibrational energies. That is why protection is not fear-based. It is love-based. You protect what is sacred, and your energy is sacred. The essentials of connection, core techniques. There is no one correct way to enter the records. What works for one soul may not work for another. Below are several foundational methods you can try, combine, or adapt to suit your spiritual practice. 1. The Pathway Prayer Process. Popularized by Linda Howe, this is one of the most well-known structured prayers for accessing the records. While the full version is copyrighted, you can adapt it into your own sacred wording. I ask to open the Akashic Records of my soul. I seek truth, healing, and clarity in alignment with divine light. I honor the keepers of these records. May I receive what serves the highest good, with love and humility. Speak the prayer out loud, then pause. A sense of shift, tingling, temperature change, emotional softening, or expanded awareness often indicates the records are open. 2. Vibrational attunement, sound and frequency. Sound has the power to transport us. Sacred sounds, mantras, or frequencies, like 963 Hz or 432 Hz, can help shift your consciousness into the vibrational realm of the records. Options include chanting OM or Ah to raise your vibration, playing crystal singing bowls before or during your session, listening to ambient soundscapes or binaural beats tuned for intuition or higher consciousness. Let the sound be a vehicle, not to escape the body, but to awaken your inner temple. 3. Crystals for connection. Crystals are vibrational allies. They help anchor your intention, filter energy, and enhance resonance. Some powerful stones for Akashic work include selenite, cleansing and connecting to higher realms; lapis lazuli, enhancing intuition and ancient wisdom; clear quartz, amplification and clarity; amethyst, third eye activation and divine connection; labradorite, multidimensional awareness and protection. Hold them, place them on your altar, or wear them during your session. 4. Breath work and centering. Before entering the records, breath is the gateway. Try this simple 4-7-8 technique. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 7 counts. Exhale for 8 counts. Repeat for 3 to 5 minutes. This slows the nervous system, grounds the body, and opens the heart, a sacred triad for access. Energetic protection. Boundaries built on light. Just as you would lock your home when stepping out, you must seal your energy field before entering altered states of consciousness. Protection in spiritual work is not about fear. It is about maintaining purity and focus in a field where frequencies mingle. 1. The Circle of Light technique. Before opening your records, visualize yourself surrounded by a sphere of golden or white light. It expands 360 degrees, above, below, and around you. This sphere is permeable only to love, truth, and divine wisdom. Nothing lower in vibration can enter. Enhance this with spoken invocation. I stand in my sacred light. I call upon divine protection. Only truth, only love, only the highest guidance may enter. Hold this vision for several breaths until you feel a distinct energetic boundary form. 2. Calling in guides and gatekeepers. You never access the records alone. Your soul has allies, ancestors, guides, angels, and specific record keepers whose role is to support your journey. Before opening, call them in. I call upon my highest self, my divine guides, and the record keepers assigned to my soul. Surround me with clarity, love, and sacred guidance. Let this work be pure, protected, and aligned with Source. Feel their presence. Trust your perception, even if it is subtle. 3. Smudging and energetic clearing. Use tools like sage or Palo Santo to clear residual energy, frankincense resin to raise the vibration of your space, salt bowls or Himalayan salt lamps to absorb discordant energy, water bowls with flower petals to represent cleansing and emotional flow. Walk around your space as you smudge, stating aloud, I cleanse this space of all that is not in harmony with divine truth. I anchor light. I welcome wisdom. Closing the records and sealing the field. Just as you open the records with reverence, so too must you close them with respect. This is both a spiritual courtesy and a practical grounding technique. Example closing prayer. I thank the record keepers, my guides, and the divine presence that held me. I now close the Akashic Records. May what I have received be integrated with love and wisdom. The records are now closed. Repeat this 3 times. The number 3 stabilizes energy and seals the session. Afterward, drink water, move your body, or step outside. This helps you reintegrate into your physical self and avoid spiritual floatiness. Anchoring the experience. The records often speak in layers. What you understand during a session may deepen in meaning days later. Journaling immediately after your session helps ground insights and track symbols, patterns, or language that reappear over time. Use prompts like, what emotions or sensations did I feel in the records? What images or symbols stood out? What guidance did I receive? What am I being invited to shift, release, or embrace? Treat this journal as your living Akashic dialogue. Navigating challenges and distortions. Sometimes things don't feel quite right. You may feel foggy or disconnected, overwhelmed or emotionally flooded, unsure if you're accessing truth or your mind's projection. In such cases, pause. Reground. You may need more spiritual hygiene, clearing, rest, hydration. To revisit your intention. Is it heart-centered? To wait. Some days the veil is thinner than others. To seek support. A trusted reader or mentor can assist. Always remember, the Akashic Records will never cause harm. If something feels misaligned, it is likely not the records but unprocessed emotion, expectation, or mental interference. Gentleness is your greatest tool. Do not push. Be curious. Be kind. You are the bridge. These techniques are not steps on a checklist. They are rituals of devotion, ways of remembering that the divine is already within you. You are the bridge between dimensions. You are the prayer and the priestess, the key and the gate. As you practice these techniques, they will become second nature, not tools you use, but frequencies you embody. Eventually, you may find that your whole life becomes the temple. Every breath becomes access. Every quiet moment becomes remembrance. And the Akashic Records are not something you enter, but something you carry within your own living soul. 5. Asking the right questions. The quality of your question determines the depth of your answer. In the sacred realm of the Akashic Records, questions are more than inquiries. They are keys. Each one unlocks a door to deeper knowing, healing, and soul-level truth. The records do not respond as a crystal ball might, with predictions or outcomes designed to satisfy the ego. Instead, they meet you at the level of your intention, vibration, and readiness. To receive meaningful, transformative answers, you must ask meaningful, transformative questions. In this chapter, we will explore how to frame questions that open multidimensional doors and invite soul remembrance. We will learn how to shift from problem fixing to path unfolding, from seeking to understanding. The nature of Akashic guidance. The Akashic Records exist beyond linear time. They do not speak in absolutes. Instead, they reflect the energies, potentials, and choices available to you in this moment. Their wisdom is rooted in compassion, not certainty. Thus, asking, "Will I get the job?" may yield little insight. Asking, "What soul growth am I invited to experience through this career opportunity?" opens the field wide. The records are not transactional. They are relational. Your presence, humility, and openness shape the depth of the response. When you approach with reverence and curiosity, the records respond in kind. They may offer you images from past or parallel lives, sensations and emotions that carry meaning, words or phrases that echo soul truths, silence, which is often a message in itself. The better your question, the clearer the reflection. What makes a right question? A powerful Akashic question is open-ended, invites exploration, is non-judgmental, releases shame and blame, is soul-centered, seeks growth, not just facts, is grounded in the now, honors the present moment. Let's look at some comparisons. Ego-based question, soul-based revision. Why is this happening to me? What am I being invited to learn or shift through this event? Will I ever find love? What patterns or beliefs are affecting my ability to receive love? How can I fix this problem? What is the deeper root of this situation and its sole purpose? What is wrong with me? What part of me is asking to be seen, healed, or reclaimed? Notice how the revised questions create space for wisdom rather than demand definitive answers. Question categories and examples. Here are several powerful categories of questions to use in your Akashic practice. 1. Life purpose and path. What is my soul's purpose in this lifetime? What gifts have I brought with me to share with the world? In what area of my life am I being called to step forward more fully? What is blocking me from expressing my highest potential? 2. Relationships and soul contracts. What is the soul-level agreement between me and this person? What am I learning through this relationship? How can I bring more compassion or clarity into this connection? Is there unresolved energy from a past life that is affecting this relationship? 3. Health and healing. What energetic or emotional roots are contributing to this physical condition? What is this illness or discomfort asking me to notice or shift? Is there a past life wound connected to my current health? How can I support my body's healing with more love and wisdom? 4. Spiritual growth and gifts. What spiritual abilities am I being asked to awaken or trust? How can I strengthen my connection to divine guidance? What practices will support my soul's evolution at this time? What past life experiences are relevant to my current spiritual path? 5. Karma and past lives. What karmic patterns am I being invited to resolve in this life? What past life story is influencing my current behavior or fears? How can I honor and integrate wisdom from my previous incarnations? What soul contract am I ready to complete or rewrite? 6. Creative projects and decisions. What energy wants to be birthed through this creative idea? How can I align this project with my soul's intention? What fears or doubts are blocking my expression? Is this opportunity aligned with my highest timeline? Use these as a starting point. The best questions often arise from your own life, heart, and longing. Receiving the answers. Once you ask your question, shift from seeking to receiving. The Akashic field may respond through visuals, scenes, symbols, or colors. Emotions, tears, joy, fear, peace. Words or phrases, spoken internally or heard externally, Physical sensations, tingling, warmth, pressure. Knowing, an intuitive sense that bypasses thought. Don't rush. Sit with what arises. Ask clarifying questions if needed, such as, "Can you show me more about this? Where does this come from? What am I meant to understand here?" Record what you receive in a journal without filtering or analyzing immediately. Some answers will unfold over days, or even weeks. Be patient. Trust that your soul will reveal what you're ready to integrate. When the records are silent, sometimes the records offer no clear answer. This may mean the timing is not yet aligned. You are being asked to reflect more deeply. The question comes from ego or fear rather than soul. You already know the answer, but are afraid to trust it. Silence is not rejection. It is sacred space. In these moments, breathe, release attachment, re-enter with a softened heart. Sometimes the most profound wisdom comes not in words, but in presence. Practice the question ritual. Before each Akashic session, take time to craft your question with intention. Center yourself with breath or meditation. Reflect on what you truly seek to understand. Write your question down. Speak it aloud with reverence before entering the records. Receive without judgment. Trust the timing. End your session with gratitude. Record everything. Even fragments have value. Final thoughts. Asking the right question is an art. It is a sacred conversation with your soul. It is not about fixing what is wrong, but about remembering what is true. Let your questions be guided by love, not lack. By expansion, not escape. And trust that the answers are not somewhere far away. They are already inside you, waiting for your voice to call them home. 6. Decoding symbolism and impressions. The soul speaks in symbols. The records whisper in metaphor. To understand is to remember the language of light. When you enter the Akashic Records, you are stepping into a space where truth is rarely delivered in plain words. It arrives instead wrapped in symbols, sensations, memories, colors, archetypes, and emotional impressions. It moves through your intuition like a song you forgot you knew. To work effectively in the records, you must become a translator of this sacred language, the language of the soul. This chapter is your guide to decoding what arises. It will not give you a dictionary, for no such dictionary exists. Instead, it will help you develop your inner glossary, rooted in trust, curiosity, and spiritual discernment. The nature of symbolic language. The records are a vibrational realm. Thought forms, energy, and wisdom are transmitted in the form that your unique soul blueprint can understand. That means no two readers will receive the exact same symbol in the same way. Your personal history, cultural influences, past lives, and current emotional state all shape how you receive and interpret messages. Symbols arise because they speak more than words can carry. One symbol can hold layers of emotional resonance, karmic memory, and multidimensional truth. For example, a white rose may represent purity to one reader, a memory of a lost child to another, and divine feminine energy to someone else. Seeing a lion could evoke courage, leadership, or a past life in a tribal society. A storm might signify emotional turbulence, rapid transformation, or ancestral unrest. There is no wrong interpretation, only deeper layers. Common forms of symbolic messages. When you're in the records, guidance may come through a variety of channels. Learn to notice, receive, and trust them. 1. Images and visual symbols. These often appear as scenes, flashes, or recurring motifs. Some may be static, like seeing a key, others fluid, like walking through a forest that transforms into a temple. Ask, What does this symbol remind me of? What emotion arises when I see this? What is the context of this image? 2. Sounds and music. You may hear specific words, tones, chants, or even full songs. A single word like remember may echo with immense significance. Ask, have I heard this before? What memory or feeling is this sound awakening? 3. Colors and light patterns. Colors carry vibration. A burst of violet light may signify spiritual activation, while deep red may relate to grounding or survival issues. Journal your responses to: what chakra or body part do I associate with this color? How does this color make me feel? 4. Sensations in the body. The records often speak through the body. You may feel pressure, chills, warmth, or a sudden ache in a specific area. This is often tied to past life imprints or present blocks. Ask, where in my body am I feeling this? What memory or issue might be stored here? 5. Emotions and mood shifts. You may enter the records in a calm state and suddenly feel waves of grief, joy, or longing. Emotions carry encoded memory. Let them move through you. Ask, is this emotion mine, or is it from a past experience or another being? What message is it bringing me? 6. Narratives and flashbacks. You might see a scene unfold like a memory or dream. You may be an observer or a participant. These are often past life or soul-level memories resurfacing to be seen and healed. Ask, what role am I playing here? What unresolved energy is being revealed? How is this relevant to my current life? Building your personal symbol glossary. Every soul has its own symbolic language. Rather than rely on universal meaning, develop your own glossary over time. Step 1. Track recurring symbols. Keep a journal specifically for your records sessions. Record every image, color, word, emotion, or scene that stands out. Over time, you will notice patterns. Step 2. Assign meaning intuitively. Instead of running to Google or a symbol dictionary, sit with the symbol. Ask your higher self, what does this mean for me right now? Often, the first impression is the most accurate. Step 3. Compare across sessions. Do certain symbols show up when asking about relationships? Does a certain color appear during health-related inquiries? These are clues. Step 4. Notice inner reactions. How does your body respond to the symbol? Is there a pull, a resistance, a softness? Your emotional and physical reaction is a doorway to deeper meaning. Step 5. Refine over time. Your symbol glossary is a living document. Let it evolve. Let the meanings shift as you grow. The role of archetypes and collective imagery. Some symbols tap into the collective unconscious. These archetypes carry weight across cultures and time. You may encounter the mother, nurturer, healer, shadow of smothering. The warrior, protector, leader, unresolved aggression. The child, innocence, vulnerability, past trauma. The hermit, seeker, solitude, wisdom. When these figures appear, ask, what aspect of this archetype is active in my life? What shadow or strength does it reflect back to me? Working with archetypes deepens your symbolic literacy. It brings depth and structure to your interpretations. Navigating confusing or unfamiliar symbols. Sometimes you will receive symbols or impressions that make no immediate sense. This is not a failure. It is an invitation to curiosity. Steps to handle this. Record it anyway. Don't discard anything. Ask your guides for clarity. What am I meant to understand? Sleep on it. Sometimes the insight comes later. Notice patterns. The symbol may return in dreams, conversations, or future sessions. If a symbol brings discomfort, it may be highlighting a shadow, a fear, or an unprocessed wound. Stay gentle. Ask what it needs to reveal or heal. Integrating symbolic wisdom into daily life. Decoding doesn't end when you close the records. Once you receive symbolic messages, the work is to embody them. Turn a recurring symbol into an affirmation. Create art, poetry, or movement inspired by it. Place it on your altar or vision board. Ask how it wants to live in your life. Let the symbol become part of your conscious co-creation. Final thoughts. Symbolism is the soul's language. To understand it, you must listen with your whole being, not just the mind, but the heart, body, and spirit. There is no one way to interpret what you receive. There is only the path of remembering how your soul speaks to you. The records do not require translation. They require trust. You already know the language. You simply came here to remember it. 7. Healing past life and karmic threads. To heal is to remember your wholeness beyond the wound. In the Akashic Records, time bends. Stories once buried resurface. Lifetimes once veiled begin to shimmer at the edges of awareness. Here, the past is not dead. It is alive within you, shaping your fears, fueling your gifts, repeating in patterns until it is seen, loved, and released. Healing through the records is not about fixing what is broken. It is about reuniting with the parts of your soul scattered across lifetimes. It is about clearing karmic threads with compassion and reclaiming power with grace. This chapter will guide you through the process of identifying, understanding, and transforming past life wounds and karmic cycles that may still echo through your present experience. Understanding karma and past lives. Karma is often misunderstood as punishment or cosmic debt. But in truth, karma is simply energy in motion. It is the consequence of cause and effect, born not of judgment, but of evolution. Each soul chooses experiences to evolve. When lessons remain incomplete or traumas go unhealed, their energy may carry forward into future incarnations. These become karmic threads, invisible ties to people, places, emotions, or beliefs. The Akashic Records reveal these threads with stunning clarity, not to shame you, but to free you. You may discover a fear of drowning linked to a past life lost at sea, chronic guilt connected to vows made in a religious order, a gift for languages inherited from lifetimes as a scholar, a difficult relationship echoing unresolved betrayal in another time. The records allow you to see these stories, not as fate, but as invitations to heal. Signs of past life and karmic influence. You may be receiving soul-level information long before you open the records. Signs that karmic or past life energy is active include unexplained fears, e.g., heights, fire, water. Repeating patterns in relationships or finances. Deep resonance with certain cultures, time periods, or people. Emotional triggers that feel larger than the situation warrants. Recurring dreams or symbols. Birthmarks or body sensations linked to past trauma. Gifts and talents that come easily and untrained. Pay attention. These are breadcrumbs from your soul. Accessing past life stories in the records. When you're ready to explore past lives through the records, center yourself in love. The goal is not entertainment, it is healing. Set a clear intention. I ask to be shown the lifetime most relevant to my current healing. Ask focused questions. What unresolved energy is affecting my relationship with person? What is the origin of this fear or pattern? Have I made any soul contracts that no longer serve me? Observe without judgment. Let the images, emotions, and sensations arise. You may see flashes of a scene, feel the weight of armor, smell smoke, or simply know. Look for the lesson. Every story holds a seed of wisdom. Ask, what did I learn? What am I being asked to forgive, reclaim, or release? Transforming the energy. Techniques for healing. 1. Compassionate witnessing. To witness a past life wound is to begin its healing. Don't rush to fix. Hold the story with love. Offer your past self-compassion. Let them speak. Let them be seen. I see you. I honor your pain. I welcome you home. 2. Soul retrieval. Sometimes, trauma causes parts of the soul to fragment. Through the records, you can invite these pieces back. Imagine your younger or past self before you. Speak. I call back all parts of me that were lost in fear, grief, or shame. You are safe. You are loved. You may return. Feel the reintegration. Journal the shift. 3. Rewriting the contract. You may encounter vows or contracts made in other lifetimes. Vows of poverty, vows of celibacy, promises to never speak out, love again, or lead. These can linger as energetic imprints. When they are no longer serving you, you have permission to release them. Say aloud, I revoke any vows or contracts that no longer serve my soul's highest path. I choose freedom, love, and truth. Burn the statement safely as a ritual, or bury it beneath the earth. 4. Forgiveness and release. Often, we carry resentment, guilt, or grief from other lives. Forgiveness frees both you and others from karmic loops. Hold the image or name of the soul involved and say, I forgive you. I release you. I set us both free. If you need to, forgive yourself. I forgive myself for all choices made in fear or forgetfulness. I reclaim my power and remember who I am. Let the tears fall. Let the breath soften. Forgiveness is alchemy. Case reflections. Soul healing in practice. Case 1. The silenced voice Maria had always feared public speaking. In the records, she saw herself as a healer in a medieval village, burned for speaking truths that challenged authority. Her throat ached as she remembered. She wept. She forgave the villagers. She reclaimed her voice. Weeks later, she led her first workshop with courage. Case 2. The lone wanderer James struggled with intimacy. In the records, he revisited lifetimes as a nomad, a monk, and a betrayed lover. He had learned to equate love with loss. Through ritual, he released the fear of closeness and wrote a new soul vow. It is safe to love and be loved. Healing ripples across timelines. Living beyond the karmic loop. Healing in the records is not a one-time event. It is a way of life. As you clear the echoes of other lives, you make space to live fully here. You may find you stop repeating the same relationship patterns. You gain clarity on your gifts and purpose. You feel lighter, freer, more whole. You no longer react from unconscious memory. You respond from soul alignment. This is not just past life work. It is present moment liberation. Final thoughts. Karma is not a curse. It is a compass. Your past lives are not prisons. They are portals. Every wound carries a gift. Every contract can be rewritten. Every soul has the right to remember its wholeness. You are not here to carry the weight of 10 lifetimes. You are here to awaken the wisdom within them. Let the records reveal. Let the stories rise. And with love as your guide, let the healing begin. 8. Receiving soul-level guidance. Your soul has always been speaking. The records teach you how to listen. There is a sacred difference between knowledge and wisdom. One fills the mind. The other nourishes the soul. When you enter the Akashic Records, what you seek is not simply answers, but alignment. You are not looking for confirmation of fear. You are listening for the music of your highest path. The records don't speak to your intellect. They speak to your essence. The guidance you receive there is not external advice, but a reflection of your deepest truth, a truth you have always carried hidden beneath noise, conditioning, and doubt. In this chapter, we explore how to receive, recognize, and integrate guidance from the Akashic Records, not as abstract insight, but as soul-led direction for your lived life. What is soul-level guidance? Soul guidance is not about telling you what to do. It does not dictate. It does not demand. It reveals. It may affirm your intuition. It may challenge your comfort. It may feel like a whisper, a nudge, a memory you forgot you knew. It is often subtle, but always resonant. This guidance comes from your own higher self and from the record keepers, guides, or ascended energies who serve your soul's evolution. Soul-level guidance will empower, not control, invite, not impose, clarify, not confuse, expand your perspective, not limit your options. If a message feels fear-based, divisive, or overly prescriptive, pause. Ask again. Real soul guidance aligns with love. How guidance appears in the records. The Akashic field communicates in many ways. These are some common forms. 1. Imagery. You may receive symbolic visions. A river, a key, a door, a phoenix rising. These are metaphors for transformation. 2. Sound or voice. Some hear distinct messages, names, or gentle inner voices. These impressions are often quiet, calm, and wise. 3. Inner knowing, the most common and powerful form. A deep certainty arises without explanation. You simply know. 4. Physical sensation. A feeling in the body can indicate resonance or resistance. A warm chest might confirm truth. A throat constriction might signal unspoken truth. 5. Emotional shift. Sudden tears, joy, or peace can signify an energetic release or the recognition of truth. No 2 sessions are alike. Let go of how it should happen. Stay open to how it does. Preparing to receive. Receiving soul guidance requires more than just access. It requires attunement. The clearer your field, the clearer the messages. Before the session, ground yourself with breath or meditation. Set an intention, e.g., may I receive the clearest guidance for my path. Create space free of distractions. During the session, listen without expectation. Write or record impressions immediately. Stay curious, not critical. Guidance comes when you surrender the need to be right and open to being real. How to ask for guidance. The Akashic Records respond best to clear, loving questions. Consider, what would you have me know about this situation? What am I being asked to embody? What choice is most aligned with my soul? What fear or belief is blocking my clarity? What timeline opens most flow and truth for me now? Avoid yes/no questions. Instead, invite depth, nuance, and soul-centered understanding. Interpreting and trusting what you receive. Sometimes guidance is immediate. Other times, it unfolds like morning light. Here's how to work with it. Anchor it, journal, or speak aloud what you receive. Affirm it. Use mantras like, I trust what I receive. Act on it. Even a small inspired step deepens the connection. Allow integration. Let the insight settle before seeking more. If you're unsure about what you received, ask for a sign, synchronicity, or dream to clarify. Integration, making it real. Soul guidance is not meant to live in the clouds. It wants to be embodied. You are the bridge. Try this ritual. After receiving guidance, light a candle. Speak your insight aloud. Ask, how can I honor this today in action, word, or presence? Follow the nudge. Make it real in your work, your choices, your art, your healing, your rest. Let it shape how you speak, serve, and love. Case reflections. Case 1. Trusting the leap. A client asked about switching careers. The records didn't give a yes or no. They showed her a bird flying from a cage into a forest. She felt freedom and fear. But the message was clear. Her soul was asking her to fly. She resigned 2 months later and started her own healing practice. Case 2. Ending the cycle. Another seeker asked why she kept choosing unavailable partners. The records revealed a vision of her as a nun, devoted to solitude. She had taken a vow of aloneness. With this awareness, she released the vow, cried deeply, and opened herself to connection. Within a year, she met her partner. Final thoughts. Soul-level guidance is not about avoiding challenges. It is about walking through them with clarity, grace, and support. The Akashic Records don't hand you a map. They hand you a compass, one that always points inward. Follow what makes you feel free. Follow what brings peace. Follow what deepens your integrity. And know, your soul has never stopped guiding you. It was only waiting for you to listen. The records are open. The answers are within. Let the journey continue. 9. Working with guides and record keepers. You are never alone in the records. Love walks with you, informs both seen and unseen. The Akashic Records are not an empty archive. They are a living realm, lovingly maintained by beings of light whose sole purpose is to support the evolution of every soul. These are the record keepers, the luminous librarians of eternity. Alongside them walk your personal spiritual guides, ancestors, and higher dimensional allies. When you open the records, you step into a sacred collaboration. You are not reading alone. You are in conversation with divine intelligence, accompanied by soul companions who know your path intimately. In this chapter, we explore how to recognize, connect with, and co-create alongside the guides and keepers who hold space within the Akashic field. Who are the record keepers? The record keepers are high vibrational beings whose role is to maintain the integrity of the Akashic field. They do not judge, dictate, or interfere. Instead, they act as guardians of soul memory, stewards of truth and compassion, interpreters of vibrational information, protectors of sacred access. They hold your records in love, neutrality, and absolute confidentiality. You may experience them as light beings or shimmering presences, council members in robes of gold or white, gentle voices that feel ancient and wise, energetic sensations of peace, warmth, or knowing. You don't have to see them to connect. You simply need to acknowledge them with respect. Thank you for holding my records. I welcome your presence and guidance. Your personal spiritual guides. In addition to the record keepers, you are supported by a unique team of spiritual guides. These may include ancestors, ascended masters, e.g., Kuan Yin, Saint Germain, angelic beings, nature spirits or deities from your lineage, star beings or galactic family, your higher self. These guides have walked with you across lifetimes. Some remain constant. Others join for specific seasons or purposes. You may sense them as a familiar presence, a loving voice, a feeling of protection or warmth, a color, scent, or symbolic animal. Invite them in. I welcome the guides who serve my highest good. Thank you for your presence and support. Establishing the relationship. Like any relationship, connection with guides deepens with time, trust, and intention. 1. Create space for dialogue. Set aside time, regularly to tune in, ask questions, and listen. Use your records journal to track impressions and messages. 2. Acknowledge and appreciate. Gratitude is a powerful amplifier. Begin and end your sessions with thanks. Notice small synchronicities and affirm their presence. 3. Discern with heart wisdom. Not Every voice is your guide. True guides speak with love, clarity, and consistency. They empower, not control. If a message brings fear or urgency, pause and recenter. 4. Ask for signs. Ask your guides to reveal themselves through dreams, animals, songs, or other synchronicities. You might say, "Please show me a sign of your presence in a way I can understand and trust." Then, pay attention. Entering the records with your guides. When opening the records, you can explicitly call in your support team. Here is a sample invocation. I open the Akashic Records of my soul. I call upon my record keepers and spiritual guides of the highest light. Thank you for holding me in love, truth, and protection. May I receive what I am ready to remember, integrate, and embody. Pause. Breathe. Allow the presence to settle. As you receive impressions, ask, who is sharing this message? What role do you play in my healing or growth? How may I honor and deepen our relationship? Trust your inner responses. Developing a collaborative practice. The more you work with your guides and keepers, the more fluid and collaborative your sessions become. You are no longer accessing the records. You are partnering with them. Try co-writing. Let your guide write through your hand in journaling. Dialoguing. Ask questions aloud and write or speak the responses. Creative channeling. Paint, dance, sing, or create based on received messages. Let your life become an expression of the records. Case reflections. Case 1. The presence of the grandmother. A woman entered the records seeking clarity on her purpose. She immediately felt the scent of jasmine and the warmth of an embrace. She saw a vision of her grandmother, who had passed years ago, handing her a blue shawl. The shawl symbolized protection and voice. Her grandmother had been a singer silenced by circumstance. The guide encouraged her to speak and sing her truth. She wept and later that month began recording music for the first time. Case 2. A galactic messenger. A seeker exploring unfamiliar visions in the records kept seeing stars and coded symbols. A being of light introduced itself as a Pleiadian guide. The messages were soft, mathematical, and filled with peace. He began studying sacred geometry and energy healing. As his connection deepened, he noticed his intuitive gifts expanding. Final thoughts. You are never meant to walk this path alone. The Akashic Records are filled with allies who rejoice in your awakening. Your guides and keepers do not seek worship, only partnership. They serve your soul, not your ego. They remind you gently, you are loved. You are guided. You are already whole. Every time you enter the records, you are not just accessing information. You are remembering a sacred family, a council of wisdom keepers who have held your story across lifetimes. Welcome them. Listen to them. Walk with them. You do not walk this path alone. You never have. 10. Living with Akashic awareness. The records are not a destination. They are a way of being. The journey into the Akashic Records does not end when the session closes or the journal is set aside. In truth, it begins there. For the Akashic path is not about moments of connection. It is about cultivating a way of living in continual relationship with your soul. To live with Akashic awareness is to move through the world with spiritual memory intact. It is to carry the wisdom of lifetimes into your everyday choices, conversations, and dreams. It is to see your life not as random or rushed, but as sacredly woven, divinely timed, and richly alive. This chapter explores how to walk through life with the Akashic field as your compass, awake, aligned, and anchored in soul truth. Integrating the records into daily life. Living with Akashic awareness means seeing every experience as a reflection of your soul's growth. Every challenge becomes an invitation. Every synchronicity becomes a message. Every desire becomes a doorway. You do not need to formally enter the records to live from their frequency. The more you practice, the more naturally you remain attuned. Daily practices. Begin each morning with a soul-aligned intention. May I walk in truth today. Pause before choices to ask. Asterisk, what serves my highest path? Reflect each evening. Asterisk, what did I learn about my soul today? When you bring sacred attention to ordinary moments, the records live through you. Signs you are living akashically. There are subtle but powerful signs that you are integrating this work into your life. You feel more peaceful, even during uncertainty. You are drawn to live more authentically. You recognize old patterns with compassion instead of shame. You trust your intuition and act on it. You experience synchronicities more frequently. You feel connected to something greater than yourself. These are markers that your soul is no longer a stranger. It is your closest guide. Cultivating Akashic presence. To embody the Akashic field is to cultivate presence, a deep, still awareness that listens before speaking, sees beyond the surface, and honors the now. Practices that support presence. Meditation, even 5 minutes a day. Breath work, to return to your center. Nature time, to realign with source frequency. Journaling, to witness your own becoming. Presence isn't perfection. It is permission to be aware, to be honest, and to be humble before your soul's unfolding. Relationships as soul mirrors. When you live with Akashic awareness, relationships take on new meaning. You begin to recognize others not just as personalities, but as soul allies, contract holders, and mirrors for your growth. Ask yourself, what soul contract might be playing out here? What am I being invited to learn or release? How can I respond from soul instead of ego? Living this way does not mean staying in harmful relationships. It means seeing them through the lens of evolution and choosing with clarity and compassion. Rewriting your story. The Akashic path helps you reframe your past not as a burden, but as a curriculum. You begin to see your trauma not as a sentence, but as a sacred site of transformation. Try this. Rewrite a painful moment as a soul lesson. Dialogue with your younger self with Akashic compassion. Bless the path that brought you here. The records remind us, nothing is wasted. All is used. Serving from soul. Living Akashically naturally leads to living in service, not from obligation, but from overflow. When you remember who you are, you want others to remember, too. Your work, your art, your presence becomes a blessing. You no longer ask, what do I get? But asterisk, how can I serve the awakening of others? Service does not mean overgiving. It means aligning your gifts with love. You may feel called to offer intuitive or healing work, create spiritually inspired art or writing, hold space for others in transition, teach, guide, or simply embody light. Follow what feels natural, joyful, and soul-fed. Spiritual hygiene and discernment. As you live more openly, you become more energetically sensitive. Maintain spiritual hygiene. Cleanse your field, salt baths, sound, nature. Protect your energy with intention. Clear cords and emotional residue regularly. Discern what energies are yours to carry. Discernment is not judgment. It is clarity. It is honoring what is aligned and releasing what is not. Living as a soul-embodied being. Ultimately, living with Akashic awareness is about embodiment. You are not here to escape this world. You are here to infuse it with soul. Let the records shape how you walk, speak, love, choose, and create. Let your life be a prayer. Let your choices be a song of remembrance. You carry the records now. not just in session, but in every breath. You are the temple. You are the reader. You are the living page. Final blessing. May you walk with light in your bones. May your choices echo your soul. May your past empower, not imprison you. May your truth ripple into the world. And may the records guide you not just when you open them, but in how you live, love, and become. This is Akashic awareness. This is soul in motion. This is the path you were always meant to walk. This authorized audiobook of lessons from the Akashic Records, Accessing Soul History for Wisdom, Clarity, and Guidance 6, Cosmic Soul Journey Book 11, by Seraphina Hartwell, is presented by Soul Sanctuary Audio. Copyright Seraphina Hartwell. For the update audiobook, click Follow Soul Sanctuary Audio.